Hi everybody and welcome to Living Out Loud. Today I have a special guest, which is Ms Courtney.
Hi everyone.
I'm so glad to have you. I'm excited about this. So today I just kind of wanted to bring her on here and kind of go over her experience of watching me, not only as a student, but as just a person in general, and kind of get her perspective on my story of, living with spina bifida and kind of who I truly am outside of just that. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I have a couple questions I wanted to ask you, but when we first met, what was your first impression of me?
I thought you were super sweet. You have just like the most bubbly personality, and I was just really happy and excited to get to meet with you. So I saw a lot of potential in you, and I knew that you would do great things just based off of your personality and your dedication.
Oh, that was really sweet of you. Was there ever a moment within the time that we've, been meeting, choosing my, career pathway and things like that, was there ever something that I've done or had said to myself that you wished I didn't? And it's okay to say, but
You're really tough on yourself, and I know that's something we all struggle with as
Right.
individuals and as people. But sometimes I think you don't see how much potential you have, or you get discouraged about something that has happened or that may happen. Where we think you're awesome and great, and I think sometimes it's just really hard to get you to see that
Yeah.
in certain moments. So that's probably, if I could wish anything for you, I wish that you could see yourself like we see you a lot of the times.
And I think that's a hard thing in a way, like you had mentioned. It's hard to sometimes, when you've come from another situation where you don't feel like you're seen or heard or really, I don't want to say cared about, but like the people at, the certain school you go to actually care about the potential you have. So I feel like coming here, I've seen it with you, with Miss Nikki. I think you two really have helped me see that potential in myself. And so I know that sometimes when I am hard on myself, I can tell that it kind of upsets y'all a little bit. And I've been really trying to work on that. And I feel like I'm doing a little bit. I feel like I'm doing better.
You are doing a good job. I feel like it's improved. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Let's see. What other question? Do you ever see me using my disability as something to define who I am?
I don't think so. I think that you have overcome a lot. You're very aware of the things that your disability has caused you to go through, but I don't think that you let it define you. You use it as like a learning experience. And I think that's a really good thing, an important thing. You're not letting it limit you. You're just seeing it as an obstacle you have to overcome, but you still know that you can do things. And I think that's a great thing for anyone with a disability to keep in mind.
Right, and I feel like in a way, again, happens too with the people I'm around. I feel like I have a better community now than I used to of teachers, people that I know that actually care about, showing me that I'm not what other people say that I am, especially with like society.
Right.
Society tries to kind of shove those with disabilities and special needs kind of in the corner. And, and that honestly, I feel like really should not happen. I feel like we should be able to speak up for ourselves and show that we are the shining light that everyone thinks we are. Like our families or friends or things like that. So I really think that, I'm trying to show people that I'm not really what society thinks I am. I'm not some person that is like, oh, you have spina bifida, so you're not going to get to do anything in life. I try to show myself and show others that I am, somebody who can do things and who wants to chase their dreams and, be able to show the doctors that I have had multiple times that they're like, oh, well, you're not going to be anything in life. You're going to be a vegetable. I want to go back to their office and be like, hey, look at me now. I'm 21 years old and I can, I can do the things that they've said that I couldn't. So I think that's a really, a good way to be, I feel like, because I want to be able to show people that I'm stronger than I show myself to be. Because I do know that there are times that I do show myself that I'm not the strongest, and I try to show that. But do you think was there ever a point of like something that I had gone through that you had like kind of seen me doubt myself of it, but I haven't like voiced that?
I think you just being comfortable being vulnerable has has shown your strength in a way, because I know that we've talked about you doubting yourself, and so I think sometimes when we talk and you feel vulnerable, you almost take that as like, you're doubting yourself, right?
Yeah.
But there is strength in vulnerability. Like, you have to be able to be vulnerable with yourself and know your emotions, know these limitations, know these strengths that you have, so that you can grow as a person. And I think that you may not recognize it, but I think you doing those sorts of things has helped you grow and has helped you overcome a lot of that negativity towards yourself. So I don't know if you've recognized it or thought about it, but I think those have been positive things that I've seen you grow with for the past semester at least.
Oh, I appreciate that. If you could choose one thing to say that makes me who I am, what would you say?
That's hard, Brittany. You have so many wonderful things. I think one of the things that just really make you who you are, as you are like authentically yourself. So I've never felt like you tried to present yourself as one way, and then it took me forever to find the real Brittany. Like, I feel like I've known the real Brittany the entire time that I have gotten to know you. So I think you being authentic is something that really defines you as a person and your relationship, with other people. And I think that's something that I really appreciate, and then a lot of other people really appreciate it. Because, like, what you see is what you get. Like, this is Brittany, this is how I am in this situation, every situation. So I really appreciate that.
What's something that stands out to you the most about me? So kind of like when you first got to know me, or like even now, like what's something that stands out to you the most about me?
Probably your optimism. Like, I know you can get discouraged about things, but you are optimistic. Like, sometimes we need to take a moment, get through that emotion, and then you're back to like, it's going to be fine. We're going to work it out. We're going to do what we need to do to get it situated. So I like that.
Yeah. Was there ever like a time, kind of to touch on that a little bit, that like, for example, the nursing situation that I had when you had emailed me saying I had no idea this happened, did did I let that kind of like discourage me, or did I kind of just be like, okay, well, this isn't going to work out, so I'll choose something different?
I think you had like a reaction like anybody would have, like a frustration when it initially happened, because you didn't, you weren't aware that it had changed. But I think you were like, took that as a, positive, and, kind of moved on like, hey, what's plan B? We need to find something else. So I feel like you took that in a positive way and kind of moved through that frustration after you initially like processed that to begin with.
Yeah. And I feel like in a way, like I always say, I try to not let things discourage me or, kind of hold me back. Because, we had actually had a discussion about, my business major that I was going to do. And I just was looking into it, and I was just like, I don't know if this is something I'm going to enjoy. So I feel like now that I'm doing that early childhood, I feel like that's going to be easier. Do you think whenever I do graduate from here, from South Piedmont, and go on to, bigger and better things, do you think people are going to look at me and realize, wow, she can do the things that I thought she couldn't?
I think there would definitely be people who probably think that, like you said, your doctors, or even, potentially former teachers or friends. There's always people in life that are going to underestimate you, unfortunately. So I think there are going to be people who are surprised at how successful you are. But if they knew you as Brittany, someone who's dedicated and someone who, has that perseverance, they shouldn't be surprised. But I know, just based off of society, they will.
That's really sweet. And then if there was something that you would want me to kind of carry on with me through my next chapters of life, even throughout just being here at school with you still, what would you say?
You're going to make me think, Brittany. I think just, and I say this to like a lot of my students, just not letting a bad situation define you, because those are just moments in a season. That's not your whole book.
Right.
So you just kind of have to move past it, just like you do with the nursing thing. You have to take a moment, breathe through it, work through that emotion. It's perfectly fine to feel that emotion, to feel all the things that come with something that's disappointing and frustrating, but not dwelling in that space too long, because when you do that, then that leads to, to worse feelings and longer emotions. So just being willing to like work through the hard things and then kind of savor the good things as you go.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for being here.
Of course.
I'm so glad we got to do this. But thank you again, and thank you guys for everybody who listens and gives me all the support. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Thanks, Brittany.
Thank you.